Could have stuck the landing a little better. Well, hello everyone. I'm your co-host Spencer Jones.
And I'm your co-host Henry Shutt.
Yes, unfortunately my previous co-host will not be joining us today, as we honestly have no idea where he is. Oh, wait. He just texted me. Oh. Apparently he has been stuck in the Taco Bell drive-thru line for 72 hours now. I am so sorry, Wade, but that is typical Sandy Taco Bell. Anyways, before we get any further into the show, I would first like to announce the winning and subsequently the new name for this program. I know you guys already saw it in the intro, but may I get a drum roll, please? Thank you. And without any further ado, the name of the broadcast that you are watching right this very second is The Crimson Transmission, live from Water One. Moving on. Let's first see if Mr. Shaver has received any announcement requests.
Yep.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Moving on, let's next hear from the Landons as they tackle, wink, our sports update.
Did you just say wink out loud again? Wow, you do a very good impression of Wade.
Lucky you have me.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about, though. Now for an NBA playoffs update. Take it away, Landon Davis.
Hey, I'm Landon Davis. Today we're going to be diving into the topic NBA playoffs. Let's get to it.
Starting with the East, the Brooklyn Nets have beat the Celtics 4-1 and will moving on to face the Milwaukee Bucks as they sweat the Miami Heat. As the Atlanta Hawks beat the New York Knicks 4-1, which so as their next opponent the 76ers did to the Wizards. Moving on to the West, the Lakers have lost 4-2 to the Phoenix Suns and the Clippers have beat the Dallas Mavericks in Game 7. The Trailblazers also lost 2-4 to the Denver Nuggets and the Utah Jazz beat the Memphis Grizzlies 4-1, making them move on to the next round. But things that stood out this season was Russell Westbrook's amazing season, averaging a triple-double, passing Oscar Robertson for most triple-doubles in NBA history. With Stephen Curry not winning the Most Valuable Player award, he still put on a show this year. Stephen Curry did an amazing job averaging this NBA with 32 points. Nikola Jokic, awarded MVP, put on 25 points, 8 assists, and 10 rebounds. That was an amazing job by Nikola Jokic. That concludes the NBA first round playoff segment. I'm Landon Davis, and I'll keep you in the loop when I get the scoop. LeBron James losing to the Phoenix Suns marked him first ever in his 14-run career in the playoffs loss in the first round. And this will be the first time in 10 years where Stephen Curry and LeBron James will not be in the finals. This just marks a new era for basketball. Also setting a record against the Denver Nuggets, Damian Lillard put up 12 threes against the Denver Nuggets. Let's take a look at some of his crazy threes from last night. Hey, I'm Landon Davis, and you just listened to one of my segments about NBA playoffs. I hope you learned something, and once I hit a loop, I'll keep you in the scoop.
Now, let's bring it in a little more local with an SHS sports update from Landon Wesley.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to another sports review. Well, spring sports is over. Tennis and track had amazing seasons. Although they were very short, the players filled them with fun, and we can't wait to see what they do next year. Baseball and softball also had outstanding seasons, with records such as 7-7 and 6-5. It was amazing to see them develop over the course of the year. Once again, these are both very young teams, but we do want to congratulate the seniors on their last season of high school ball. And now, let's go to the winter sports side of Sandy High School. Swimming, basketball, and wrestling is now fully on track for this season. Both men's and women's basketball just actually had a game last Monday the 7th. Unfortunately, they both lost, but they went out there and battled against a very tough team in Clackamas. And believe me, from a person that plays soccer at Sandy High School, Clackamas is amazing at every sport. Anyways, we're very proud of them regardless, and their next game is actually tonight, Friday. So go and support them if you're able to. Swimming is finally back at Sandy High School. Unfortunately, only 5 meets are scheduled this season, which really sucks to hear, but their last meet was actually yesterday at Gresham. Although such a few amount of meets are scheduled, we talked to Ruby Paulson at Sandy High School to hear about how excited she is about this season.
Hi, I'm Ruby Paulson, and I'm a junior at Sandy High School, and I'm currently on the Sandy High School swim team. I'm very excited to get back in the water. It's been too long, and it's so exciting to see all my friends again. It's a little hard because we don't have as many meets, and there's no spectators allowed, and it's kind of ruining the experience of what we would get without COVID, but I'm just happy to be back in the water.
As you can see, she's very excited to get back out there, and that excitement is a fuel to this team. And I am very excited to be seeing some swimming, finally. Just like swimming, wrestling is fully on track for the season. Excitement is built through the roof. They're finally back. Unfortunately, only 3 get-togethers or meets are scheduled for this season, which is really unfortunate to hear, because we will just see a lack of ability of the Sandy High School wrestling team. But I really hope they extend the season for all 3 of these sports. Because I don't know about you guys, but I want to see some sports, some winter sports to close out the school year. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time. Talk about more sports.
Now that we know what's new with sports, let's find out what's new with ScoobyDoo.
Hello SHS, and welcome back to another segment of mine. Instead of a movie review, I'm gonna just talk about Scooby-Doo. Kind of easy. But let's start off. I feel like every person and child has their own favorite show, and mine obviously was Scooby-Doo, since that's what I'm talking about. But I was obsessed with it. All the movies, the shows, all that merchandise. It was an addiction, and it lasted for 11 years, but these past 5, because I'm 16, has been slowed down with a couple of movie watching and show binging. But some of those movies were Cyber Chase, Ghoul School, and Where's My Mummy? The show that I was obsessed with, because there's multiple, was the Scooby-Doo Where Are You? That was made in 1969, and I highly recommend all of these things. Also, just been notified by my mother that I had 3 Scooby-Doo birthday parties. So she had to go to every Albertsons and find a different cake, which I kind of feel bad because I wouldn't do that for my kids. Okay. In the 52 years that Scooby has been around, there's been 13 shows, all with multiple seasons, 5 live-action movies, more than 40 different animated movies, 1 puppet show, which is a little confusing, but whatever, and 21 video games. There's obviously been more, but I'm not going to do the full list. Joe Ruby and Ken Spears were the original writers of the 1969 show, and I think we should honor the original voice actors behind it all. So, to start, we have Frank Welker as Fred, Casey Kasem as Shaggy, Nicole Jaff as Velma, Indira Stefiana as Daphne, and Don Mezek as Scooby. This franchise has been popular since the beginning and still continues to be this day. From 1969 to 2020, there have been 10 different animations. I get that over time, these changes are bound to happen because artists may have passed or just wanted to quit the show in general. But some of these things are inexcusable. There are two series that I want to talk about that are very serious with the OG fans. They're the 2006 Shaggy and Scooby-Doo Get a Clue and 2015 Be Cool Scooby-Doo. Now, these are just gross. I don't know what else to say. I don't get why they went so far off from the animation. Like, I think they wanted to try something new, or maybe they wanted to get the OG fans upset, because it certainly made me upset. But the 2006 version looks like Tim and Moby from Brain Pop. And don't get me wrong, when I was a child, I loved to sit down and watch Brain Pop. But I don't want to see it in my favorite show. The 2015 version gives me Adult Swim vibes for some reason, and I don't know why they did that. But if they really wanted to make something out of it, let the adults get involved instead of just watching a kid show all the time. Change it to Adult Swim, Let Fred cuss once in a while. Not for kids. Not for kids, obviously, because they play it at nighttime and the kids go to bed. So the adults can just have some entertainment. The newer movie Scoob that came out in 2020 was, I'm not really sure. I don't know how I feel about it yet. But what's your opinion, Charlotte?
It
Fizi?
sucks.
Okay.
It sucks.
Okay.
Thank you.
This is gonna be bad.
This can go two ways, punk. One, you walk away. Two, I walk on your face.
Huh?
Okay.
The oldest live action movie was made in 2002, and in my opinion, after the second one was made, everything else went to crap. The OG live action movies were the best, and I don't have any room for argument. I'm not saying they're the best Scooby-Doo movies ever, but live action, they take the gold medal. You had Sarah Michelle Gellar as Daphne, Matthew Lillard as Shaggy, and which now, anytime I see him in a movie or show, he's just Shaggy. Who's his name? We don't care. He's Shaggy. And then you have Freddie Prinze Jr. As Fred, and he was my first celebrity crush, and I still love him. And then we have Linda Cardellini as Velma, and may I say that Linda in this movie was a baddie as Velma. Yeah! But now we got some lame ex Disney stars trying to step in as the new Scooby Gang. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I know they aren't really trying to take over the Scooby Gang. They're just trying to get some money. But I'm just obsessive over this franchise, and it's not okay. So, yeah.
What the heck's going on?
If my calculations are correct, due to the fragile nature of unstable protoplasm in the proximity of the Damonitis, we're simply going to continue randomly changing bodies until the protoplasm realigns with the appropriate bodies. I'm Fred again!
I understand that change is bound to happen. The year 1969 is very different from 2020. But still, some of these changes are very much unexpected and unnecessary. It's been the same thing every TV show, every movie. Maybe it's a good idea to keep it that way. Sometimes it's nice to sit down knowing that even though everything is changing around you, your favorite show is the same and always will be. So, that's pretty much it. Since this is going to be my last video, I'm going to post the bloopers from this one because there was a lot. So hope you enjoy, and I'll see you never. Bye.
You have to tell me. You have to. But I don't know when to say.
Wait. Okay. Oh, cut that out. Cut the camera.
Ah, the good old days. I love Scooby-Doo. But I actually have Benjamin Button syndrome and was actually alive back then. I will be turning into a baby and then unexisting soon.
Can't wait. Well, speaking of good old days, next up we've got soon-to-be graduated senior Katie Fisher, here to talk about the trends she's witnessed over her high school career.
As my high school career dwindles before my eyes, I can't help but look back at these past 4 years and feel like each one of them were decades long. It's crazy that 2017 was the beginning of my freshman year. And things have changed a lot since then. If you'll remember, 2017 was a slow year for trends. Modern surrealist memes were just beginning to reach mainstream popularity. So most of the meme space were taken up by things like Salt Bae, SpongeBob, the guy looking over his shoulder. Most of these can surprisingly still be found on millennial Facebook pages. Let's not forget about pop culture moments like Kendall Jenner's commercial with Pepsi. I vividly remember when the hot dog Snapchat filter came out. And of course, fidget spinners. Lots and lots of fidget spinners. 2018 brought more of the iconic moments that 2017 was missing, with movies like Black Panther, Rogue One, and Infinity War. I remember how hard it was to try not to spoil Infinity War for everyone who couldn't see it opening night at school. Teachers had notes on their board about Thanos demanding your silence. 2018 was also when Mason Ramsey sparked his career yodeling between the aisles of a Walmart. Memes like Spaghetti and Ugandan Knuckles marked a clear change in the meme economy, leading to the mainstream popularity of E. 2018 was a year that marked a shift in pop culture that we can still feel today. While 2018 was about testing social norms, 2019 was more or less about bringing communities together through pop culture. Avengers Endgame was released and quickly became the highest grossing movie ever at the time. On Instagram, an image of an egg was posted by the account World Record Egg, and with a push from the internet, by March, the picture of the egg had nearly 53 million likes, almost tripling the last world record. 2019 was also the year that Old Town Road was released, and for some reason, Keanu Reeves climbed back into relevancy. In May, Minecraft became the best-selling game of all time, and again proved its effectiveness at bringing people together, which we would need. 2020 had its ups and downs. Masks became popular for some reason. TikTok was no longer something to hide on your phone. Users who had previously downloaded the app ironically were now viewing extremely relevant content, much different than anything else that was previously posted on TikTok. 2020 also brought an increase of viewing time, which led to the world success, phenomenon even, of an Oklahoma-based tiger breeder. There was also a strange trend of celebrities trying to become relatable with no success. A lot of stuff happened in 2020, but those were the important things. And we don't need to talk about anything else. 2021 has marked the end of my high school career. And up till now, it seems a little bit better than 2020. Maybe next year school won't be online, but who knows? This year is bound to be just as eventful as the last 4. And I'm looking forward to see what the future holds. Bye, Sandy High School.
It's always nice taking a trip down memory lane, revisiting all the trends that were popular during those times, even if half of them may be considered a little cringy these days.
Spencer here was actually a big fan of Gangnam Style.
Dude, we don't talk about that.
Fortunately, Katie forgot to cover that trend.
Next up, here with our very own baking show is Wyatt and Jake. You guys better have baked something good, because I forgot to eat breakfast this morning.
Hello everyone, I'm Jake in Jake's Kitchen. I'm here with Wyatt today. How are you doing today, Wyatt? Well then, moving on. Today we're baking a cake. Homemade family recipe, vanilla cake. First we're gonna need our bowl. Wyatt, you wanna grab that? Good. Next we're gonna need our ingredients. grab some ingredients. Okay, that is not what we needed at all. I'll just grab them, okay? I'll put these back. Okay, so we need flour and baking powder. You wanna grab this? Okay, it's 1.5 cups flour. One. That's half. And then our baking powder. Good job. And now we need our sugar and our butter. It's gonna be 1 cup sugar and a 1/2 cup butter, which is pre-measured. Okay. Now we need our 2 eggs. So first, I'll show you how to crack it. So you want to hit on the flat side, put your thumbs in the middle and crack it. Make sure it gets it all out. Throw it away. Okay, Wyatt, you want to try? No, not like that. Leave right now. Leave.
Hey, Wyatt, you good, bro? Pretty good. I didn't mean it like that. You wanna come back inside and we can finish this all up? Okay, let's go do that.
Okay, buddy, you ready? Let's try that egg thing again. There you go. Okay, next we're gonna add our milk. 1/2 cup of milk. There you go. And then 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. There you go. Okay, now whisk till silky smooth. You know, whisk it.
Two hours later.
Okay, next, grab your pan. Okay, now pour it in your pan and spread it out evenly. Bake on 350 for 30 to 40 minutes. Oh, it's done. Donovan, I told you to take the wrapper off. Bro, come on. What did I tell you about this? I said make it not noticeable. Come on.
You said swap the cakes out.
That still means take the plastic off. Come on.
My bad, boss.
Do better. Sorry for the interruption. Thank you for joining us making this magnificent cake today. Have a good day, Sandy High School. Hey, we're done now? Cut the camera too.
Thank you, Jake and Wyatt. That was certainly interesting. Sorry that he hurt your feelings, Wyatt. Anyways, I will definitely be enjoying some of that cake during my break later. Next, we've got our fantastic media correspondent, Kira Klauser, again for a review of a classic 1940s romantic comedy, His Girl Friday. Take it away, Kira.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the second movie review. Today, instead of a 2021 movie, we're going to go back a few decades and start off with a 1940s black and white feature called His Girl Friday. This movie was produced and directed by Howard Hanks. Writers include Charles Lederer, Ben Hecht, Charles MacArthur, and Maury Reiskind. The movie starts off with one of the main characters, Walter Burns, played by Cary Grant. I would describe Walter as a very work-oriented journalist and kind of puts his work before anything else in his life. Then we have Hildy Johnson, played by Rosalind Russell. Hildy is very independent and powerful. She's known as an excellent journalist from the Morning Post. Usually in the 40s, it's known that women are like housewives to their husbands, clean, cook, all that, and Hildy's quite the opposite. The movie starts off by showing the relationship between Walter and Hildy as a divorced pair. Hildy informs Walter that she wants to move to Albany, quit her job at the Morning Post, and be with her new fiancé, Bruce Baldwin, played by Ralph Bellamy. Walter, not wanting to lose his ex-wife and star reporter, he sets it to be his goal to keep Hildy in New York. His plan is to use Earl, played by John Quaylen, as a captivating story on the first page.
Well, I can see right away my wife picked out the right husband for herself. How do you do, sir?
Must be some mistake. I'm already married.
Already married? Oh, Hildy, you should have told me. Well, congratulations again, Mr. Baldwin.
Oh, no, no. My name is...
Excuse me, will you? I'm terribly busy. Just leave your card with the boy. What did you say, Mr. Baldwin?
My name is...
Mr. Burns. Some other time. I'm busy with Mr. Bruce Baldwin here. I didn't hear what you said, Mr.
I was
Baldwin.
going to say that my name...
Now, look, what is it with you?
I'm
Jemai?
Bruce
Can't
Baldwin.
you see that... Oh, you're Bruce Baldwin?
Yes.
Well, who is he? Who are you?
My name's Pete Davis.
Well, Mr. Davis, is this any concern of yours?
Oh, no.
Well, from now on, I thank you to keep your nose out of my affairs. And
Well,
don't let
I
it
just
happen
wanted to
again,
tell you
that's
that-
all. Mr. Baldwin, I'm terribly sorry about this mistake. This is indeed a pleasure. Oh, that's wrong, isn't it? Well, Bruce, you see, I thought... You don't mind if I call you Bruce, do you? After all, we're practically related.
No, not at all.
You see, my wife, that is your wife, I mean Hildy. Oh, Hildy, you know, you led me to expect you were marrying a much older man.
Oh, really?
There were some things that, kind of went too quickly for the storyline, but other than that, the story held structure and made sense along the way, even though it was a little too quick. One thing that I found interesting was the title. It didn't make any sense to the story, and so I did some research. When someone says Girl Friday, usually means representing a servant of a master. The title, in my opinion, was very ironic to the storyline because Hildy was quite the opposite. There are some references in the movie that didn't make sense at all, but I'm guessing it's just the time difference, but it still didn't stop me from understanding what was going on in that moment. You could tell with the emotion of each character what they were feeling and, understanding why they were feeling that way. For a movie in the 40s, the quality was actually really good. It wasn't like grainy as some black and white movies would be. The acting was really precise. When there was anger involved, you could hear it from the tone, facial expressions, and body language. It wasn't just the volume that made you understand how to feel in scene, which in my opinion is needed for a movie because there's more to emotion than just like the basic five: happy, sad, mad, angry, and worried. There wasn't much music, but it didn't stop me from understanding what the tone was. Costumes were basic. They live in New York in a business. You got a suit, tie, and a pantsuit. Nothing much to it. Overall, I think the movie was excellent. It was only 1 hour and 32 minutes, but it went by pretty fast. So if you're into old movies, this movie is perfect for you. Thank you for listening, and have a good day. Bye.
Transitioning out of the 1940s and back into more modern times, here's Sabin Schulfer with a review on a more recent film, A Quiet Place 2.
What's up, guys? It's Sabin Schulfer here, back with another review. This episode, I'm going to be talking about A Quiet Place Part 2, the second installment to the first Quiet Place that came out in 2018. Before going into A Quiet Place Part 2, I was a bit worried that it was just going to be a cheesy horror movie sequel. I'm not going to lie. I was worried that Maybe the studio or the producers were just milking John Krasinski, the writer and director, for his money and just trying to get another horror movie action sequel out of the franchise, because I didn't really understand what they were going to do for a sequel to the first one. And the first one did end off with some loose ends, so they could have a sequel going into another installment, but I just didn't know what was going to come of it. I know a lot of people were excited for it, but I was a bit worried that it was just going to be lackluster. But after seeing the movie, I can assure you that it did not fall through. The second installment, A Quiet Place Part 2, definitely holds strong compared to its first one. Something that helped with that is that it picked off right where the first one left off. So at the end of the first one, where we see the cliffhanger, we pick up almost right away from that, which was awesome to see. And another thing that really helped is we get to see day one of these monster attacks. So what it was like for all of these people interacting with these monsters in the world on the first encounter, which is super cool to see because by the time we see them in the first movie, and especially in the second movie, they're used to these monsters. They know how to deal with them, but now we get to see some instances where they didn't know what to do. And on top of that, the acting throughout is incredible. When characters get hurt, either by a monster or the environment in the world, it really feels like they are in pain. The actors do incredible, especially the kids, and it's super impressive. And there were a couple things that I thought the story of A Quiet Place Part 2 handled super well. One of the biggest concerns I had, besides thinking that it might just fall flat as a sequel, is I was not understanding how they were going to handle the monsters in the second one. Because a big part of the appeal of the first movie is that as an audience, we don't understand really what these monsters are about. We don't know how to defeat them, for example. But if you've seen the first one, we now know how they can be defeated. So in the second one, they weren't able to use that aspect of mystery to those monsters. But they were still able to handle it in a really nice way. The first movie is more about the suspense of, oh gosh, how are we going to get away from these monsters? Where the second movie is more about the action of how are we going to kill these monsters. And it's a really cool dynamic that they were able to change how they handled their monsters in the movie, but still get good use of them. And another thing that they handled really well is the loss of their main star, John Krasinski, in the second movie. Because if you've seen the first one, you know that his role in the second movie isn't that big. But they were still able to use his character well in the scenes that he does have, and use the other characters without him in a super good way too, giving them more screen time and letting them become the main characters. And there are new characters that come into the story that fill his spot perfectly and don't just seem like they're trying to replace John Krasinski throughout the movie, but are becoming their own unique characters. All in all, I was really pleasantly surprised with A Quiet Place Part 2. It did not feel like they were trying to just make a cheesy sequel, as I was calling it, but it really felt like they were trying to do something different from the first one. They kept the same dynamic, obviously, of having these monsters that you have to be silent around, but brought a whole new vibe to it. The second movie definitely holds its own compared to the first one. They both have the same conflicts, but have much different solutions to them throughout it, and A Quiet Place 2 was able to be just as good as the first one. And if you haven't seen it yet, I definitely suggest that you check it out. It's an awesome action, horror, suspense movie for the books, and definitely a good one to start off your summer. See you guys.
We're almost wrapped up here, folks, but don't worry, we didn't forget the joke. Oh, let's now have our favorite host, Wade Fisher, Henry Schutt, take it away for the joke of the episode.
Did you hear about the two psychiatrists who passed each other on a walk? One said to the other, "You're fine, how am I?"
Great joke, Henry. Great joke.
Thank you for tuning in to the second episode of the Crimson Transmission. What a whirlwind of a season one.
I'm your co-host, Spencer Jones.
And I'm your co-host, Henry Schutt. I keep doing that.
Have a great day, Sandy High School. On our way out, please enjoy some art from our very own Ryan Gupton. We will see you in the fall.